Seat.
Welcome back from the Urban Breakfast. It's 5 minutes past 9 o'clock on the 20th day of June 2026. Welcome aboard the big seat on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM. Good music, good friends. My name is Wesige Nyaji. We are airing live on Plot 12, Motile, Mbarara City, the land of milk and honey is where we are airing from. Don't forget that you can be part of the conversation online on cruisefm.com/stream and on Cruise TV for TikTok and YouTube. Now, to be an MVP for the big set, you'll just have to call or send a text on our social medias handles 912 Cruise FM on X and 91.2 Cruise FM on Facebook. The topics are ready on our socials, so you can be a part of the conversation this morning. Now, to call in is 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. I have two gentlemen with me in studio, but it's important to let you know that I invited councillors at the city council. They confirmed presence only, not to show up this morning. I also invited the speaker of the city council, who confirmed with me his presence, but unfortunately we are not able to get a hold of him. We are talking about corruption at the Mbarara City Council and the Mbarara district. So if at all you have a grievance, we are talking about the land grabbing, the misappropriation of resources, and taking it personal to seek for accountability for how some of these public servants have been able to utilize taxpayers' money, but also as custodians of government property. How are they able to deal with government property? That's something that we are going to be interested in. I have the RDC for Wampara, the assistant RDC for Wampara, that's Musat Kwatanse. I have a lawyer in Deusdedit Bwenje, and we are going to be talking about that. It's sad that we can't have any of the personnel at the district and the city council to be able to directly talk about some of these elements. But like I've said, you should know that I made invitations to these individuals that have not just showed up. But regardless, we had a wrap-up of the week, and we saw that thousands of graduates at the Law Development Center were graduated after completing the bar course. So we want to congratulate the lawyers, the advocates now that are going to be enrolled anytime soon. Upon completion of the cadet course for the lawyers, it's not easy. it's not easy. The lawyers lose their lives. The lawyers faint. The lawyers die. So much happens at the bar course, but at least we are happy for the lion hunters that were able to make it to that graduation yesterday. But special recognition to those that made it to the directors list. LDC normally awards the best 20 of each academic year, but I can tell you, getting on that directors list, it takes blood, sweat, and a lot of sacrifice. Now, we know that NRM's Padage Sembo was declared the LC5 chairperson-elect for Chikube district after defeating Fenekans Timanyire of the National Unity Platform, who garnered 8,712 votes against 26,612 of Padage Sembo. And we want to congratulate NRM Padage Sembo for winning that election, the by-election. This was replacement for the gentleman that lost his life, the son of General Matayo Chaligonza there, who lost his life in a motor accident. And I hope the gentleman, Mr. Padage Sembo, who has been elected, will be able to serve the people of Chikube. Now, former Kampala Lord Mayor and President of the People's Front for Freedom, senior advocate Arias Lukwago, was arrested from his home and charged with misprision of treason. Now, this particular charge is to mean that you had information to do with treason and you concealed it. But we also know that Mr. Lukwago is the lead counsel in that treason case of Dr. Kizza Besigye. So it's possible that he is able to obtain particular information because of that relationship of client advocate with Dr. Kizza Besigye. Now, the lawyers under the Uganda Law Society yesterday marched to the offices of the Director of Public Prosecutions, demanding the withdrawal of the misprision of treason charge against the former Kampala Lord Mayor Arias Lukwago, And now the Mbarara district local government has asked police to investigate its chief administrative officer David Muhwezi over the controversial allocation of district land to several government and private institutions. The move follows a resolution by the District Public Accounts Committee, which this week questioned the legality of the land allocations made during the 2024-2025 financial year. Now, welcome to the Big Sis once again. You can be able to watch all this that is happening here on Plot 12 Mutile and on Cruise TV. Good morning, Mr. Kwatanse, and welcome to the Big Set.
Good morning, my brother Wanyaji. Good morning to Council Bwenje, and good morning to our dear listeners. Kwatanse Musa, the political antidote, Assistant RDC Rwampara District, NRM General Secretary for Shema District Youth League, an activist, and the love of peace. I first of all want to congratulate NRM Party for winning Chukube District at the local government level, because when we have local government leaders, the heads of the local government leaders at the district subscribing to the party, as NRM Party we are assured that the services, the manifesto implementation, and everything will be delivered to the people with no sabotage, with no malice, and the people will benefit. So I congratulate Pade, and I wish him all the best. And I also want to congratulate the people of Chukube for making the right choice to support the party. In the same vein, I also want to congratulate NRM that is massively doing campaigns in Karangara. Those who are following closely, you know, we are having a by-election in Karangara after the death of the woman MP-elect. So soon, I'm very sure that even Karangara will this time vote for NRM. And so, I want to call on all the listeners to pay attention to us. And I also want to congratulate the young boys out here. You know, there is an ongoing tournament, the Ankore Cup tournament. I want to congratulate Ankore, because this time around there is a unity, and you know, young people have been waking up. You see, everyone is geared to participate, everyone is geared to be in, and so really we are bringing in the real unity of the Ankore people. And I want to congratulate the initiators of this movement. And I think if it can be decentralized to villages, and now we use it in the campaigns for young people to join government programs, we can achieve highly. I thank you and wish you nice deliberations.
All right, welcome to the Big Set. Good morning, Council Bwenje, and welcome to the show.
Yes, the pleasure is mine. The week has been, of course, very bad. I think there's a story of a shepherd who made a pact or an agreement with a fox that whenever I bring my sheep, you should take one of them. Now the shepherd is Museveni. The sheep are the people of Uganda. The fox is the son of Museveni, MK. MK is presiding over. I mean, there's a lot of human rights violations, and the commander-in-chief, who is supposed to intend over the CDF, is so passive, is so dormant, he does not speak a word. And we think that he has abrogated, or he has actually abdicated his constitutional roles as the president of the land to the CDF, and of course that is unconstitutional. This is a man who thinks he's above the law. I think everyone is scared. I'm even seeing Parliament now. He has now captured Parliament. Now the Speaker and the Deputy Speaker are under his control. Of course, I've seen steps
we shall
to
be
make
able
him
to
the
talk
president
about
and so forth. Then, of course, in the World Cup, there was a match between Brazil and Haiti, which is my favorite team, Haiti. Haiti is the poorest country on earth. It is in the Caribbean. It is also the oldest black republic. It was the first black state to get independence. I hope it becomes strong enough and wins the World Cup. But all said and done,
What's your opinion of this World Cup? There's a lot that is happening. At least I know there's now an Ivorian player that was denied visa to either the US or Canada, one of the two.
Yeah.
We know that Thomas Partey was denied entry into Canada. And then there's a couple of
Somalia.
the Somali referee, and the couple of people that have been denied visas to the US or to Canada.
Yes.
Why did
under international law, a state has a right to admit or not to admit any person,
yes,
irrespective of the function the person is going to attend. So FIFA cannot impose its obligations. I mean, its conditions on a sovereign state. If the United States thinks that a particular individual comes from a country whose citizens are not allowed in the US, then it is absolutely the responsibility of the state. So FIFA cannot now countermand or say, this gentleman is our ref, he must enter your borders. No. So state sovereignty is of course subject to public international law, but and that is in conditions where serious violations of rights like torture, freedom from torture, racial discrimination, genocide, and so forth. But in this condition now, I think the United States is right under international law.
all right. Thank you so much for that. We're stopping for a short breather, and when we come back, we are going to go right into our topic of discussion. But certainly, if at all you know so much about the corruption that is happening at the district, call in and give us that feedback so that we can be able to engage and know what is happening. Don't touch your radio, because we'll be right back after these messages. Good morning.
It's tough, it's bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music,
Great music.
great friends.
Great friends.
All right, welcome back from that short commercial break. It's 21 minutes past 9 o'clock on Western Uganda's biggest radio station, 91.2 Cruise FM, good music, great friends. My name is Wesige Banyaje. I have Musat Kwatanse here. He's the assistant RDC for Mbarara district, and I have Council Bwenje Deustridit, who is a lawyer. And we are going to talk about the corruption at the district. Unfortunately, we were not able to obtain the councillors here and the speaker of the city council to have really good authority of what is happening there. But certainly we know that the District Public Accounts Committee instituted, in fact, an investigation into the Chief Administrative Officer over misappropriation of district land, but also resources. We've had the Mbarara city being talked about in a wrong way, with either misappropriation of resources or corruption. Mr. Musat Kwatanise, how much do you know about the corruption that is happening at the city and the district councils?
First of all, I will state that corruption is there in the local governments. And I will state it without fear or contradiction. Corruption is there. I will first of all use a case study and a very good example, which personally I have developed interest in, and actually presented an intervention after the call from people. In Buteraniro Nyihanga Town Council, there in Buteraniro, we have a health center 3 called Ndija Health Center 3. That Health Center 3 has land. The land, part of it, was grabbed by someone. That person went and processed the title, has a title for that land. Now, after getting a title for that land, he went and rallied a neighbor that, you see, me have taken this one, and they are sleeping. Now you can also take this, so that now when they come, already this part is taken. When we are two, they can't fight us. And so this person who has already land was even helping this one to process the land, rather to process the title. But this one who was processing the title was not smart enough. He started clearing all the trees on the land. And so the natives of Ndija in Nyangabtan Town Council started shouting, now someone is grabbing our land, even has cut our trees. These trees are for government. How can this happen at the look of all the leaders and the stakeholders in the district? And I want to tell you, our involvement in that matter was after the natives called us. So reaching on ground, we realized that this man already has a title, the first person. And this person who has a title was helping this one also to obtain a title. The letters to obtain a title and ETC were already at the sub-county. The sub-county was already ready to endorse them and give that person a go-ahead. And so when we intervened, the statements I am making are very sensitive in a way that if they don't have a record, they can implicate me.
Yes.
So when we intervened, we called this person who already has a title on government land. We also called the other person who also has who had grabbed the other part and also was processing a title. We called the natives. Then we went there as the district leadership. The RDC's office, I was there present with Fanderose. There was also Cow and other stakeholders and technical people also. We went there and engaged these people. When we engaged them, because now this one was put in a movie which he didn't understand, the one who was processing a title. He stood before us and the natives and testified whatever was taking place. That, no, please, I grew up knowing that this land is not mine, it is for the government. But this man here grabbed this part, processed the title. After him processing a title, now he called me and told me I can also have this part and process a title. And I want to tell you, I was doing all this. He's the one who was facilitating even. And I can tell you, my brother, all those statements because we wanted to have a record. He said it before the public. We got videos, and he went down and wrote, documented, because we want to have a reference, so that when we have this guy who grabbed the land and who has a title, we take him to court. We can also use this as part of our evidence that indeed he grabbed the government land. But now the question is, you cannot process a title on government land or your land without the authorization of the land board, of the LCs. You cannot. You know the steps as lawyers. You know the steps one take to have a title on his or her land. Now the question is, a district that has RDC, a district that has Chairman LC5 as the head of political wing, a district that has area MPs, a district that has DISO, a district that has DPC, a district that has NRM leadership, the chairperson NRM, a district that has the engineers, the surveyors, the environmentalists, the what, all being paid, a district that has a land board. Someone goes and grabs a land on a health center 3 and nobody's bothered. A health center 3 that has an in charge. A health center 3 that has a person who is not even a doctor, who is from that community that is always there to oversee. A health center 3 that is in a town council that has a chairman LC3. A town council that has a land board. Then you say there is no syndicate for corruption there. And you want to tell me that this person processed everything when these others were not in the know. So that's why I say there is always collaboration in this thing. You see why you have called councillors and have not come, and why you have called many people have not come here. People these days, they fear Chitangaho. I cannot go in the radio and talk about the corruption scandal, because if I am the assistant RDC, tomorrow Rwampara can gang against me and chase me, because I'm speaking facts. Not Rwampara the natives, Rwampara the what? The stakeholders.
The cartels.
Who are you to talk about these things? But for us as young revolutionists, young generationists, who are led by our leader, General Moses Kainerugaba, first of all, he has put in us the spirit of speaking the truth. And number two, he has said it is now us to help the system realize some of the errors and clean them. Because now, someone came, grabbed the land, took the land, even lured the neighbor to come and grab the land. And you tell me all the documents this person used to process a title have stamps, have signatures for people. But you see, the people who are now fighting for this Ndija land are the natives, those who didn't even go to school, but were there before even the health center was established. They are the people that have come and said, no, government. We grew up knowing that this is government land. But we are seeing some people have fenced it. Others have cut the other part, they have cut trees. And all the leaders are asleep. What is happening? So really, corruption in the local government is there. And too much, by the way. And to eliminate it, we need a corrective effort. Because if we are still in this saga of I should not be the one to speak because I can be eliminated in whichever way. I should not be the one to speak because they will intimidate me. I should not be the one to speak maybe because this can happen. I want to tell you, government is losing too many things. I questioned the people of Ndija, Rosa Nyihangabutana Town Council, because that clinic, that Health Center 3 is called Ndija Health Center 3. For the reason it was Greater Ndija before Nyihangabutana was made a town council and Ndija sub-county. So the Health Center 3 is now in the town council of Nyihangabutana. I asked the people of Nyihangabutana that this is now a Health Center 3. The land grabbers have grabbed its land when you are there looking. Tomorrow, what if the government develops an interest of elevating your Health Center 3 to Health Center 4? Where shall we get the land to put the buildings and for other things that are required. So are you satisfied with the health center 3? And people realized it, that indeed it is a mistake to see government land being taken and you remain asleep. And me, I will always attach that to all the stakeholders. Because if you look at the system of NRM, the system of NRM is a very well structured system. The system of governance of Uganda is very well structured. But the challenge we have is that someone will think that President Museveni must come from Nakasero or Entebbe to come to Rwampara in Buteranoro and save this land of Health Center 3 that has been grabbed. Yet, the very president has a representative in the district. The very people have their representative at the district as the political head of the LC5. How NRM has the NRM chairman there. The security, we have the DPCs, the DSOs, and you have all those structures and etc. And then you tell me President Museveni has to move from Nakasero or Entebbe to come and save this land. Then tomorrow they wanna start blaming president. They stole our land, president, where are you? You find people are blaming the president, when in actual sense we, whom he has empowered to do the right work, are the people letting him down.
Okay.
So
yes.
To me, I would think that if we do what is right, we can eliminate this corruption. But when we are still working in fear, whom are you fearing? The wananchi on ground, rather the corrupt cartel on ground, they will fight back. So because we fear to talk, because we fear to act, for those people not to act also on us, things are dying at our rook. And so that's why me personally, I will speak without fear or contradiction, and for whatever I speak has a record, so that when I'm called tomorrow, I can avail that record and it saves the situation.
Okay,
Thank
let
you.
me play the sound of one of the councillors of the sessions that was raising of these corruption tendencies at the district.
Most powerful question Honorable Christine asked, did KRU become a choice that Mbarara has a land? Naruma kerere kamanyangu naba choice bakamanyangu arutaka nitwetenga kwega twabatuga, because nyent hato or chairperson tomorrow to be someone, so we need to ababana tukumanya bwinchi baja, so nitwetenga kwetegereza the procedure. Now nguna nechin, who is supposed to ask when we are in a packed session? Nimbasa kwanda straight nani who's because the KRU, we hear that Katwara acres when actually we don't know the resolution. The IGG na una hurawa waleta mwikufa una IGG asemile kuhusu. I submitted my document even here. She refused him. In fact, she wanted even Mojangwa Kana was be arrested. The IGG. So the message, one time IGG invited us as a council to submitting a grievances. Up to this time, I know what I wrote by that time. So we need also to check the IGG operations. Another thing, if you ask a document, you first run on that document before you get to another thing. Yes. This gentleman has asked you.
Okay, that's some of the things that transpired at the district council, where some of the councillors were raising pertinent elements of the corruption at the district. Let's have Council Bwenje. We know that public land is under the custody of the Uganda Land Commission. But there have been reports that individuals have been able to obtain leases on government land at literally at a giveaway price, 30 million per acre here in Mbarara, in the middle of Mbarara district. We are talking about land of the Uganda Management Institute, where you studied. We are talking about Makerere University Business School here at Kamkuzi, Mega in Technical Services, Kampala International University, the Ministry of Internal Affairs land here at the Mbarara Regional Analytical Laboratory, the Office of the Solicitor General, Police Barracks, the Inspectorate of Government and Education Standards land. And all this land has been grabbed by particular individuals. Where is the Uganda Land Commission, Mr. Wenje?
Now, okay, thank you so much for that question. Now, incidentally, we don't have a lot of facts on that matter. And of course, because of the absence of the councillors, we miss first-hand information. So I think the best we can do is to make a general view of corruption on a grand scale in the local governments of Uganda.
And we should also just oppose it with the appointments by the president. When he appointed Mr. Bargahari and Namere, the message was clear. Let the quarrelsome Namere go and deal with the people at districts, and she has sold herself as a fight of corruption. Do we see these appointments at least making some effect?
Now, what comes up, of course, I think in the eyes of every reasonable man or woman is that these appointments were not made on merit. Because if you appoint me because I can quarrel, not because I give attention to detail, not because I'm qualified in that direction, then it raises questions about my capacity. But that apart, the District Land Board, the Uganda Land Commission are all, of course, agencies of government. And the government can be the central government and what? And the local government.
And the local government.
Now, the problem there is that these boards, they are not actually independent as we think they are. They are subject to the highest bidder. Of course, as we all know, the president of the country does not have a strong stance against corruption. Because I remember there was a time when some people wanted to do a lifestyle audit, and he said no. He seems not to really see corruption as a crime, and it has gone on and on. It is not the first time that people are ganging up to steal government land. There's a lot of land in even in Chegego and where people who are on lease, they now start selling land which doesn't even belong to them. Now for the case of Mbarara district, of course I saw the cow was arrested. Of course it is still a developing story, but I don't know how a sale of government land is made by a council or by a cow in absence of a resolution by the council, because it should be the council making a resolution, and then of course the district land board and so forth. So I think the questions which were raised by the park, I think they point to the direction that there's need for an extensive inquiry on who bought, who sold, at how much.
First of all, you being a lawyer, help the listener understand. Does government own land? Maybe let's start from there. And when and how do individuals take ownership of government land? What is the due process for obtaining title or interest on government property?
Okay. Now, there's when you read the land policy of government, there's some vagueness about what amounts to government land. Because you see, where the offices of government are, that is taken to be government land. But land which is not owned by a specific person or a specific individual, it becomes public land. So it is land held by government in trust for all of us.
Yes.
So if you want to have an interest there, of course, you cannot have a freehold interest there. The best you can have is is to have a
leasehold.
Yes, a leasehold, and it can be for 49 years, it can be for 99 years, but at the end of it, you can now make an application to convert because when the lease has ended, it then becomes customary. So now you can file an application to convert the customary into freehold, or you move government to transform the lease into freehold. But of course, there are steps there. So without the participation of the land board, of the area land committee, which has to come at the site and make a hearing and then ask your neighbors if there's any conflict and so forth. If that process is not followed, then it means the award of a title was marred by fraud, and I think it is null and void.
I know certainly that government can impeach all title that have been obtained fraudulently. Why isn't government moving at a fast speed to be able to arrest these culprits and reverse government land and its interests on majority of this public land? Why isn't government doing the most extreme to rescue government land?
Now,
is it because there are particular individuals that work for government and are the same people grabbing this land?
Not exactly. You see, if you want to impeach a title for fraud, you cannot go to the RDC. You cannot go to the registrar of titles. Fraud is the strict preserve of the High Court. So I had the RDC here to talk about the title and fraud, but you see, we have to be so cautious. RDCs have no role in resolving or entertaining a dispute over land. The best they can do is to mediate, but they cannot make any specific orders. Okay. They cannot intervene even in a family matter. The best they can do is to mediate,
I think
to make
allow me in a minute
orders.
Clarify what I said.
Orders.
I think council misquoted me. I said in this land there is one who has a title and was persuading the other one also to take the other part.
Yes.
And had started processing a title for the other one.
Yes.
Which was not ready. So for this one whose title was being processed and now testified that the land is not his, that one we rescued it back to the government. Then for this one who has a title, now that one we said that one is a court matter. And it will be him versus government, and already that case is being pursued.
But how would you speak to questions that have been raised that majority of times it's the RDCs actually
when you say
lubricating the entire process of land grabbing of government land?
We rescued it as who?
You see,
I mean, it's
yes, speak to that, but also answer to the fact that the allegations always have an RDC in the middle of things when they are talking about land grabbing.
You see why in most cases they always say RDCs. RDCs at the district actually are the eyes of the district. For whatever fails, even in some cases which are already in court, sometimes court even recommends that first go to the RDC and mediate. I think you know that well. Yes. They have always said this one requires mediation, and the RDC can mediate in many cases and many issues. So meaning this is a trusted office, but because people who come in the office already have interests, and of which interests most of us are not ready to serve them, they will definitely blackmail, they will definitely merce, because their interests have not been served. That's why you always hear, no, the RDC this, the RDC that, the RDC the other. But in actual sense, when you investigate further, you find what the RDC was standing on was right. But because the interests of those, maybe the grabbers or maybe the what, were not served, they must do blackmail, they must do mercy to win the matter. And this one is saying, you rescue land as who? Our role as the chief monitors of the government programs in the districts, we have to be there. This Health Center 3 is under government, is facilitated by the government of Uganda. The RDC must be there to monitor the medicine there. If the health workers are working, if the facility is functioning, if the run of the facility is there, so that when it is not, he questions. Technically to the cow, technical questions have to go to the cow. Political questions have to be addressed to the political leadership, the chairperson, LC5 and the MPs. And so we find a resolution.
You had one of the whistleblowers saying, we've petitioned the IGG. We've written the IGG. We invited the IGG. We've instructed the IGG. We've told the IGG. The IGG doesn't seem to act on some of these allegations that have been raised by the councillors that are whistleblowing about the land grabbing and the corruption at the districts. Why is the IGG not interested in arresting some of these culprits? Because at least we know that the mandate squarely befalls on the office of the IGG to investigate and arrest these culprits.
I think the Ugandans have not yet even known how President Museveni works. President Museveni has put the IGG here and even has put for us alternatives. He tells you if there is a corruption case that has gone to the IGG and maybe has delayed, here there is the anti-corruption committee led by the General Isoki, and that committee is directly under State House, meaning it is directly supervised by the president.
How many cases have been in?
So
have they been able to?
If the IGG fails you, can't you try now the anti-corruption? Because at least for the anti-corruption we know it will work out, and very smartly and very shiftily and very fast. Because it is on record that when you go to the anti-corruption, it will work shiftily. So Ugandans, if you try the IGG and maybe you find, oh, you see, the justice is not felt there very fast as you expect, try the anti-corruption of General Isoki. And so and definitely you will get justice. And also, I've always told people, when you come to anti-corruption, show us that you were in court, you have reached at this level. You had gone to the RDC, you had reached at this level. You have gone to the IGG, you have reached at this level. So that the person you are going to can easily compare notes and see where to start from. But you find someone is coming to the anti-corruption, reporting that he went to the IGG and didn't get justice. But you ask him, what is the evidence? Someone has no papers. And so things remain allegations. In fact, most of the things out here, you hear people speak, but facts are nowhere. People don't have facts. And so because they speak without facts, now even those who should have intervened failed to intervene, because you cannot intervene in a matter that has no facts, in a matter that has no record, because it might fight back.
Okay, we have some feedback here that is coming in. We asked the reports of misappropriation of government resources and land grabbing continue to emerge from the district local governments, especially at Mbarara city councillors, alleging public officials are colluding with private individuals to illegally acquire government land. And we asked how serious is the problem, and we've gotten some feedback. Corruption is in local government is their daily bread. Now we saw reallocating of land to KIU. They even cut down tall trees that have been there for a while. But how do you possess land tight on government land? I can assure you that there is collaboration with leaders in this scandal. This is from Arini to Nicholas. Thank you for that feedback. And then given at Kwasa, you're saying land grabbing and corruption in local governments, it's a high impact governance problem that affects the development and justice. And the solution is not only in the laws, but in the enforcement, transparency, and the accountability levels. Thank you, given at Kwasa. Then I have Jakisa Edson, who is appreciating us for the show and is saying land grabbing is becoming another disability in Uganda, especially in the inferior people who are not stable economically to be able to fight for themselves. Anthony Matko, the genius, you're saying you're always listening to the show and you suggest that serious investigations should be carried out to arrest the culprits. Ankunda Best Arnold, you're saying it's a war on our future. Leaders are the thieves, so we think we the people must rise, expose, occupy and defend every school, wetland and public for ourselves. Thank you, Big Sita and Best Arnold Ankunda. And I have Nabmanya Emma, you're listening in from Mbarara. I want to appreciate you so much. Let me get to now the feedback, the telephone calls. Call in on 752 912 912 and 780 912 910. Call in and let's get to hear from you about the state of land grabbing and corruption at the district local government on 752 912 912 and 780 912 910. The big seat. We just lost that call. But as we get to wait to the calls, now, at least this term, the president is saying there is no doubt there's commitment to fight corruption. And he has always raised so many committees. We know that at least there was a committee of inquiry led by Justice Bamgemereire that was supposed to make a report to the president, and I believe that it was done. But we've never seen anything being acted upon that report.
Yes.
Tell us about that.
Of course, the commission of inquiry was intended to spare out or to investigate any misallocations, abuse of office, excess of power in regards to the use of land, especially the land of government. But ever since that report was compiled and handed over to the appointing authority, we have not seen anybody charged. So maybe there was an investigation and it did not reveal any positive results. And of course, a lot of money was spent by government on the same. And that makes me think that Museveni sometimes maybe he does things for purposes of convenience. He I think does not care about who gets rich, how they get rich, at what cost. So the amount of money which government spent on that report, on that proceedings, and the fact that nothing has come of it, surely it is a cause for concern. And I'm not surprised that even in government here, you find whole chunks of land. And I heard them talk about 9 acres of land given to KIU. Now, I don't know if KIU bought, under what circumstances.
Actually, my brother, if you can allow me ask one question to our council,
yes.
I need him to give a legal guidance. I wish to understand what are the procedures, the legal procedures government can take to give individuals land. Are there legal procedures
yes.
that are taken for government to give individuals land?
And if they apply and they specify the amount of land they want, and then they involve the district land board, the land committee of the area, it comes to the area there, and they scan and they ask, do you have any objections? And of course they're asking the neighbors and so forth. And if there's an objection, unless it is resolved, the proceedings for the grant of the title are stayed. And if there's no objection, the government goes ahead and grants that land to the person who has applied for it. But I've not heard of any proceedings where KIU was an applicant.
Okay.
So I think it shows us that there are some suspicious activity which led to the ownership of land there.
Okay, we're stopping for a breather. We're looking up in the second hour of the show. But don't forget, you can be part of the conversation happening this morning. We're talking about land grabbing and corruption at the local councils with specific interest at the city council here in Mbarara and generally in Mbarara district. We shall be back, but also don't forget that we shall be able to talk about the Lukwago situation. Don't touch your radio because the best is yet to come. Good morning.
It's tough, it's bold, it's real politics. The Big Seat on 91.2 Cruise FM. Great music.
Great music.
Great friends.
Great.
land on water branchment and why he has been in limbo all this time. Or maybe who occupied the land first between him and the hill center. And finally, if the land grabber insists that it's his land in Nyahanga, Buteranero in Rampala district, then enforce an order of embargo maintaining strictly no access and operation on the land. And you're saying that issue does not need PLU and NRM. Those are systems that are just weakened. And you say the government can't fight itself. The land grabber is either part of the government or even intending to be stronger than the government. The RDC's involvement about giving relevance to the position of the RDCs and PLU has nothing to do with it. And this gentleman is called Godwin Turamriamya. You're in Kakova and you're listening to the show. I want to appreciate you so much, Godwin, for that feedback, certainly, and that information. Now, to be a part of the conversation, you can call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set. Good morning, Cruise FM.
Morning, Westgate. This is Barnabas in Mbarara, Kashar.
Yes, Barnabas.
I'm Mr. Westgate. Land grabbing cannot be fought in this country because those that grab land are part of the government. So there is no way you can fight them. And I'm happy for our district, especially that chairman of the land board, Mr. Kamuchahabati, that he ordered for the arrest of the cow. Let him be arrested and be tried in.
All right, just got in that. Let's get a bit of more calls on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Hello?
Hello.
Yes, good morning.
Yes, good morning to you, Mr. Westgate.
Yes, what's your name and where are you calling from?
I'm called Richard Wabin Robert here in Alliance.
All right.
I'm happy with the people you have in the studio.
Yes, please.
And another thing I want to talk about is that those land grabbers, they don't even fear because they know at the end of the day, they are going to remain in their positions. So there is nothing much they can lose, and therefore they can easily accept to go to the court, and the process is going to take long, and at the end of the day they are sent back. But if there has been serious penalties, then these people can learn a lesson and maybe we fight against those land grabbers.
All right. Certainly, gentlemen, thank you so much for calling. I thought you were done when I hanged up on you. But you can call back on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Call in and let's get to hear from you. Now, Clifton Manyiromjuni, who is a big sitter, says land grabbers are over. Who the challenge are some of our leaders who deal with the grabbers, since majority of them usually fund their campaigns and they're paying back to their bosses. And you say it's my call to Honorable Balam, Honorable Namere and the Lands Ministry to chip in as soon as possible to check on the lands of government, especially in the local government. Your Dr. Clifton Manyiromjuni and your coordinator for PLU in Kagango district, in Kagango in Ivanda district. Thank you so much for that feedback. Let me pick one more call, the big set.
Yes, my man, Westgate Braga.
Yes, good morning.
Okay, good morning. You are talking to me, Jordan Morata, always calling in from Sampoksheng.
Yes, please.
I think that on the issue of corruption, I know most of corrupt officials are found in local government. That one that have been headed by this man Vigara West. I think the main solution it's just to remove all corrupt leaders, remove all corrupt local leaders, and arrest most of them who are involved in those scandals, in order to have a good and a developing country. Good morning, my man.
All right, you appreciated. Call in on 752-912-912 and 780-912. I know there is land that was owned by now the Member of Parliament for Mbarara County. I think if my facts are not wrong, the Honorable Mbarara here that was taken by the Catholic Church here at Matters. That land had been contested and on who honestly owns that land. But we thank God that now land was given to the Catholic Church and there is at least construction going on in that place for a new cathedral there. But let's get a bit of your calls on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. So the big set.
Yes, Mr. Wesley.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning, sir. Speaking to me, Owen.
Yes, please.
Nturanye nokushasha kwingi abantu abingi ngihamba ngihamba amawukuzizombora kuda yesu nekyamazi ekyokureberaho ari omukazi omwe untaragambeho akabuwe division ngatwarayo kwetombuita kwanje twaza omukyaro twashitama yakora ensharamu konka ebiro byabiratiire kubyihikire omukazi yanyahindukana byashaziremu ebyagambira ari kusharamu yahindura statement ze so itwe nk'abantu bahansi abatiine bugambiro ariyo mbatumaraho nishaba tweyimukire mito nk'abanyayuganda buri muntu ayirwaneho omuringo gwakubaasa mwebale mukani mpurani nshasha nyina okushasha kwingi mwebale munonga
yebale kuteera bambi on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. I'm hoping that there is a councillor that will be able to call in and give us some inside information of what is happening at the district council on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
My brother council.
Yes, Agaba, good morning.
Morning.
We've lost you, certainly.
Hello.
Yes, we can hear you clearly.
Yes, I'm getting them loud and clear here in Bushenyi. Bushenyi at large is represented. But what I would like to add my voice on those ones that are submitted is that I wanted to rate the Deputy RDC of Mbarara that the problem is not with these land grabbers. The problem is with the appointing authority. Because all those that are grabbing our land are the one that has been appointed in those positions. Even that one, Musa Kwatani say you will end up grabbing a land. So we are listening and we are enjoying your show, Banaji. And let's continue listening to you.
All right, you appreciate it. Let me pick one more call on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Call in and let's get to hear from you on what you think about corruption at the district and the city council on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set. This is the very last call on this topic. Good morning. Just lost it. On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. Call in and let's get your feedback on the corruption that is happening at the district and the city councils. The big set. Just lost that call. Musat Kwatanise, as we conclude on this particular topic, what do you have to say? What is your message first to council, but also the institutions of government that are charged to protect and make sure that the resources, the money that belongs to the taxpayer, doesn't go to waste?
First of all, I want to say and to challenge everyone. First of all, have information, have facts with us. Because as I said earlier, one of the challenges is that you find you are chasing something, but when it is time to present facts, you don't have them. And so even you find you a grabber might have been in wrong, but will defeat you. Because these grabbers are very smart. You'll find he has everything that is required. If it is a title, he has. If there are letters from LC 1, 2, 3, what, he has. Then you who comes claiming you don't have even a single document. Then carelessly, you find even some of the government lands, people have not bothered to have records clear. And so someone challenges you. You go to courts of law, someone challenges you. So I want to call on everyone to be vigilant and have information. And always have the information, have the information on record. So that tomorrow, if there is a challenge, you are able to encounter and counterattack with evidence, and you challenge. And two, fighting corruption and fighting land grabbers must be a collective effort. If we remain in a situation of chitandagaho, maybe they will sabotage me. Maybe I can be removed from the position. If we are serving interests, not principles, I can confidently assure you that corruption is still here. But if people who are empowered to serve, if we who are appointed by president, someone has said in the appointing authority has no problem. He appointed Tukwatanise because he saw he's a young committed patriot who can serve. And so if me, I go to Rwampara and do my manyanga, now I will be but my boss has no problem. So we who have been empowered, who have been identified from many to serve, if we can serve the principles, not the interests, I can confidently assure you that corruption will be eliminated. The privileges can come later. Let's first stick on principles. We will eliminate these land grabbers. We will eliminate this corruption in the local governments, and Uganda will be corrupt free. And I can confidently, if the 84 trillions are put in place and are in practical, I can tell you Uganda would be far. And that's what His Excellency the President is focusing at. That's what General Muziki as a champion of corruption, as a champion of the anti-corruption crusade is fighting for. And we are all ready to back them to make sure we eliminate this vice of corruption. I thank you.
All right. Council Benjon, finally on this topic.
Yeah, I call upon the agencies of government, the IGG, the police, the CID and so forth, anti-corruption state house team, to investigate this matter to its conclusion, but also the cow who was arrested and detained. I'm informed he has not been arraigned in court. I don't know why, and it is past the 48 hours. If they do not have a case against him, they should free him, or they make sure they produce him in court on Monday. Otherwise, two wrongs don't make a right. If he did bad and you're also doing bad to him, that is not going to help us.
All right, I want to appreciate you, especially those that have made your contribution on this particular topic of discussion. Don't forget that we are still here and we are going to talk about all that is transpiring with Lukwago, Dr. Besigye and all that. Let me start with you, Musa. What is the CDF's problem? Because the entire week he has been up and about warning of how he's going to impeach the leader of opposition in parliament, Senyonyi, and he will have to replace him with someone that will pledge his allegiance to the CDF. He has been calling out ministers and literally condemning them. It's been really a roller coaster this particular week. But certainly, he said that he would arrest Lukwago. He said that he would arrest Semuju and all these opposition stalwarts. And he went ahead to arrest Lukwago at his home. We saw the pictures of Lukwago blindfolded and in a basement being taught how to speak Swahili, and was arraigned before court and charged with misprision of treason. And all this is happening under the watch of the CDF and at the instruction of the CDF. How far are we going to slope as a country in as far as violation of the rule of law? Because we know there is due process. Is that how you deal with suspects, Mr. Muswat Kwatanse?
First of all, I have also been following, but I want to first of all state that the person of the CDF in General Kainerugaba. One is that he's a champion. He's the champion of one peace. Two, he's the champion of security, national security, and most importantly, he champions national interests. You see, people focus at small things and forget to look at the bigger picture. I will
if I may ask him, what is a small thing here?
First of all, I want to remind us that CDF General Kainerugaba recently was talking about the ADF in Congo and how they are disturbing people and how we must terminate the ADF. And he has been very strict on the Ituri province governor as one of the champions of the ADF. And I can confidently assure you, as we speak, His Excellency Shekedi, the President of the Republic of DRC, I can tell you, he removed that governor. And very soon, you will hear that in the Eastern Congo, the ADF is no longer there. Why? Because General Kainerugaba is a visionary. He's not just even looking at Uganda. He's looking at a broader picture. You see, he has engaged in many diplomatic missions that have brought here peace, that have opened borders. People are not focusing at that. And so when he comes in now in Uganda as a CDF, where Uganda has of recent launched the UPDF Establishment 2021, which was launched that mandates the CDF to do a number of activities, that mandates the welfare of the UPDF to change, that mandates him to...
Does that establishment empower the CDF to torture the people of Uganda? Does it or it does not?
I have not seen the CDF torturing the people of Uganda, and maybe if you have the record,
okay,
you can present the record.
Has it enabled him to support the torture of people of Uganda by posting their photos online? People who are being tortured in basement.
The CDF has not tortured on record.
Yes.
Has not tortured and has not involved himself in any torture of any Ugandan.
Okay. But there is a person by the name of Kakwenza Ruchirabashija who came out and clearly said in one of the episodes of his torment in a basement was in fact conducted by the Chief of Defense Forces, General Kainerugaba, who doubles as the presidential advisor on special operations.
Also now where I'm seated here in the studio, I can arrange that as we were entering, Council of Genje slapped me. Yeah, and is it true that he has slapped me?
You see, an admission in law, an admission is the best evidence. This is a man who has openly admitted that I have your Kwago here, I'm teaching him Swahili. I have your Hedimutwe here, I'm teaching him Runyankore.
Let me ask you a question. So, where is Rukwago now?
No.
Where is he?
No, it's not about
we
where
see Rukwago in
now.
prison. We see Dr. Bestia in prison.
Yes.
We see Edmutwe in prison.
Yes.
So how do you say...
No.
How do you explain to the listener
the
pictures that we saw this week of a blinded Elias Rukwago in a place that General Muhoozi indicated to be a basement in one of the locations, teaching him how to speak Swahili? Please speak to this directly.
I want to be clear on this. I can confidently say that I am not aware, and I know that there is no basement which I can discuss here. I don't know it. And also, General Kainerugaba is a man who follows the law. And for whatever he does, by the way, let me tell you, if he was not this person who is not a law-abiding citizen, by now he would be the president. Because for us, we have been demanding, please come and take over. But he said, no, we must follow the law. So General Kainerugaba is a law-abiding citizen, and so he respects the rule of law. That's the reason he's even waiting anxiously at the right time for us to mandate him to be our president. Otherwise, the power we are giving him, we Ugandans, the energy we have, if he was not a law-abiding citizen, I can confidently state it on air that if General Kainerugaba was not a law-abiding citizen, by now he would be our president. Because for us, we waited for him some years back, you know. We have been here.
I think what we are doing here is just a mockery.
Wait
for we are not doing
the right time. And let's follow the law.
You've changed the issue. The issue that we are talking about
is
on the events that transpired this week. There is no doubt of the interests of
what hurts me most. Just a few moments ago, he's on record as having said we must protect our people against people who steal their land. The poor must hold on to their land. We as the Watara DCs and the anti-corruption team are there for them. But now he has just forgotten, and actually, if I may ask him, has Kainerugaba used the word basement?
You see?
No. Has he used it or he has not used it anywhere?
I have not seen him speak of a basement.
Now you see. So I think the person we are discussing with is either not in the country or maybe is speaking for the purposes of protecting his job. But if truth be told, when we come on studio here and you start making a mockery of the pain that people have undergone, see, you are in your bed at 4 a.m., people jump into the compound, they snatch you from your bed in the presence of your family, they take you somewhere, no one knows, and then a fool, RDC, of course I know he's an assistant, but he's a public servant.
He's actually a civil servant.
Yes.
It's not even a public servant.
And of course he says, we in the PLU, we in the NRM, we support. How do you support a person who violates the constitution? So which constitution were you appointed under?
So you mean Rukwago being in Ruzra is unconstitutional?
No. You see,
is Vestige being in Ruzra unconstitutional?
We are land persons. We all know that before he was arraigned in court, he was coming from somewhere. Are you aware of that?
I saw Rukwago being brought to court.
Yes, you are an informed person. Where was he coming from?
From where he was arrested from.
Where?
His home.
Now you see. So when we come here and we manufacture, now his own CDF, his own chairman, was on Twitter and saying, "I have him." Now a subject, a foot soldier, says, "I don't know." Then it means either the foot soldier and the chairperson are not in consonance, or maybe they are not on the same terms. But what we are talking about here is it is a crime of unmatched standards. We cannot have a CDF who is on the loose. Now, and you come up and say that, and you take pride in the torture of a human being, when we all know that you can excuse all violations of rights, but torture and slavery, fair hearing, habeas corpus are exceptions. And now another DC comes on radio and says on TV and says, "I'm not aware." Surely. So what kind of Uganda are we advocating for? I know you love him, but loving a person does not mean that you become blind to what he is doing. Because you see, when you read the protocol handbook in the order of hierarchy of Ugandan officers of state, the CDF is number 28. The speaker is the third. The deputy speaker is number 6. But both of them, both the speaker and the deputy speaker, are now under the control of the CDF because he appointed them to the committee of PLU.
Now I want to.
So now my question is, if he wanted, do they have the power as parliament, as the speakers, or as the heads of the parliament of Uganda? Do they have the power or even the will to question his conduct?
Let me ask you a question.
They don't have.
We know
because they're all
PRU.
captured.
Let me ask you a question,
Yes.
Council.
Yes.
We know PRU as a civic organization.
A registered one.
Do you remove the rights of the speaker and the deputy speaker from associating with this civic organization? Being speaker and deputy speaker, does it mean that their rights to associate with the civic organizations are taken away?
Maybe Musa,
asking me?
we could sit here and talk about these things as if this country doesn't belong to us. But the truth is, some of the statements by the CDF that he makes on his X handle are very worrying to any right-thinking member of this country.
For example,
Because when he talks about
the leader of opposition.
picking the leader of opposition for himself and saying there shall not be opposition in parliament, this is alternative government, and you're saying the leader of the alternative government is going to be picked by the CDF, because we know certainly that the superintendent of that August House was picked by the CDF. Is this the way to go? How will an appointee of the Chief of Defense Forces seek accountability from the executive if he's an appointee of the CDF? How is this going to happen?
Now, you must know that you are talking about the CDF, but also you have the General Mhozi, who is the senior presidential advisor on special operations.
Yes.
And meaning, some of the operations you see ongoing are special in a way that he has maybe advised the CIC. And there was a consent of a special operation to continue. That's why you even recently saw the operation Mariza Ufisadi in Parliament. That was a special operation. And that special operation was commissioned, was championed by the CIC.
Does that
But
answer? That's
was
all
led
that you-
by the senior presidential advisor.
Does that
special
No, no.
operations.
Yes. So is the same operation going to get rid of the leader of opposition? That
Now-
is an appointee of the president of the National Interplatform.
When you are a leader, a senior presidential advisor, special operation, the CDF of the Uganda People's Defense Forces, where the Uganda People's Defense Forces are mandated to secure the territorial boundaries of this country. And as a person, you look through all angles, both national and international, and you see there are gaps where the national security can be at a threat. You must come out clearly to say those that are in a cocoon of threatening the interests of the country, those are in the cocoon of threatening the security of the country, should not be there, and you are there at a rook as a CDF. I think one of the reasons some of the operations are ongoing are for the greater interest of the country. National security, national stability.
So is it
and peace.
Is it in the interest of Uganda that we should not have a leader of opposition,
And-
or we have a leader of opposition who is a stooge of the government?
And I have not seen where General Mhozi is opposing having a leader of opposition. But our main concern as Ugandans, and if even you as a patriotic Ugandan should be, we should have a leader of opposition. But does the opposition mean opposing everything? Why can't if we benchmark, we have to benchmark from developed countries. What does opposition do?
So
Providing alternative solutions to the prevailing challenges.
No. So does government mean supporting everything?
How often have we seen opposition of Uganda providing alternative solutions? Instead, for them, they are focusing at opposing, speaking. They want microphone. They want camera, because that's giving accountability. And the question is always,
he asked your question.
Whom are they giving
Is it
accountability?
also true that because you belong to the National Resistance Movement of the Patriotic League of Uganda, that you must support everything?
Definitely, I don't support everything.
So
That's why, in the first incident, in the topic you have just concluded, I was very stiff on condemning corruption. I cited examples.
Actually,
I
he has
cited,
no moral right to condemn corruption.
I cited examples,
don't have it.
and I cited where I have taken action on behalf of the office of the president, I have cited with examples, with evidence. I've cited. So what is wrong is wrong, and what is right is right. When we come to national interests, there I can never be compromised, because I know when I read the history of this country, it has a record.
Mr. RDC,
If I'm asking also.
no,
Okay.
let me, I'm the moderator here.
Okay.
If there is due process, if I've committed an offense, the law is clear upon which the process will be followed to obtain justice or to punish me for my offense. Why is it that the Chief of Defense Forces works outside that legal parameter?
Now, that's why I am still confused, because we've seen Elias Lukwago being arraigned in court. We've seen court
you cannot
sending him to
Let me ask him a question.
We've seen
If I snatched your watch and then I gave it back to you, does it mean I had not taken it?
definitely when there is
No,
no clear
does it mean
record of
I've
you
not-
snatching the watch,
No,
then
yes.
discussing it becomes
Exactly. No, okay. You are talking of a record. You are an active member of X and WhatsApp and so forth. Did you see any soldiers at the house of Elias Lukwago?
I will categorically state that what I have seen
Yes.
and that is on record is Elias Lukwago being aligned in courts of law and being
My question was,
sent to Ruzira.
did you see soldiers at his home? Yes or no?
No, I am saying
No.
and
Just,
for purposes
just say
of
no.
record.
Just say no.
For
I didn't
purposes of
see them.
record,
Yes.
I am still sticking on one thing.
Yes.
Me, what I have seen is Elias Lukwago being aligned in courts of law
Yes.
and being sent to Ruzira.
Okay.
And that process is legal.
Yes.
And so if we are discussing in this matter,
Okay.
really there is no abuse of human rights.
How did he come to court?
He was arrested.
Where? From where?
Of course, whoever is arrested and is in
No,
prison,
no,
we don't
no,
know how
no,
they were
no.
arrested.
You see,
Because now I
Musa,
will also ask
Musa,
you, those who are in here in Chamgoran, do you know how they were
Musa.
arrested from their presses? So
Musa.
definitely they are presented to court, and court makes a ruling. The good thing you are counsel in this, and you know what we are discussing. So if you say I saw the army in Elias Lukwago's home lifting Elias Lukwago, taking him, and you have evidence of that record, really I would be hearing you. But there is no record of an army officer lifting Lukwago from his home. There is no record. The only record I have and I can discuss firmly and confidently is a record of seeing Elias Lukwago in courts of law being sent to Ruzira by a lawyer. And so that is a just process. It is a legal process, and it can never be questioned. And you cannot call that an abuse of human rights.
Okay. So, are you aware that the CDF he posted pictures of Lukwago in a basement?
The pictures.
Are you aware of that, or you are not?
Definitely.
If you are not, you say I'm not aware.
I have said I don't discuss something I am not aware of.
Exactly. So,
and two. I discuss just things I've seen and I have evidence on.
Yes. So I call upon you to follow your, to ensure that you are updated, because it seems your chairperson is way ahead of you, and you are now trying to defend him.
In fact, to read it verbatim, General Muhoozi, on a tweet that he made yesterday, he says, "Nothing in the laws of my country stops me from appointing a leader of opposition that I think is best suited for the job. Nothing at all," he says. And he continues to say, "I must get rid of Joel Seni."
And I think he's, of course, mistaken. Because unlike a speaker, a deputy speaker, and some commissioners, a leader of opposition cannot be sacked by parliament. She or he can vacate office either by resigning, or by dying, or by being expelled from his party. Yes, or by being fired by his party, or when his party is no longer the majority opposition party in parliament. But short of that, Mos has nothing at all he can do to him.
But we have seen
Either to kill him.
in this
maybe.
matter, in the very matter you are discussing, you've seen many opposition, especially National Unity Platform MPs, subscribing to the Patriotic League of Uganda, a civic organization that is championing interests of this country. Many of the NUP MPs are sidelining with PRU. Now, what if those NUP MPs come and say, we are denouncing the leader of opposition?
No.
Will you stop them?
Yes. You see, a leader of opposition is appointed by the party with majority support. I mean, the opposition party. So it must be the party to fire him. And the party and the election of the leader does not take place in the parliament. So Temke can do some other things. He can kill him, but even if he kills him, the NEP can still appoint because they still have the numbers. So I don't even see how a CDF is interested in who becomes the leader of the opposition of Uganda, because the constitution is very straightforward. UPDF officers shall be non-partisan. They have no interest at all in who becomes a speaker.
The very constitution where you are quoting that
Yes.
article you are quoting
Yes.
has they should be non-partisan,
Yes.
but must engage
Yes.
in productive activities
Yes,
for the good of this country.
Yes. So is it in the good of our country that we should have a weak leader of opposition? Are you aware that the word opposition stems strictly and directly from the constitution? To be a member of the opposition or to be a leader of the opposition is not illegal. It is, we pursue a system of checks and balances. You cannot have a system of checks and balances where you do not have the opposition.
And the checks and balances are providing alternative solutions to the existing challenges.
Alternative
Have
solutions.
we seen
Yes.
these guys of NUP and the opposition entirely?
Yes, they even
we
have
seen
an
them,
alternative budget. They had it.
Seen them provide alternative
Yes,
and champion them.
yes, they even had an alternative budget and you refused it.
Definitely, I want
So-
to categorically state that all that is happening, all that is going on is for the interest of national interests. And you see, our revolutionary leader, His Excellency Museveni, has already said it, that national interests first.
You see,
Others come later, but
see,
national.
now
When it comes
the-
to national interests,
yes.
there is no debate.
Okay.
When it comes to national interest, no
Let me ask you
bargaining.
something.
When it comes to
In which
national
book?
interest, no.
in which book or in which law do we find a set of national interests?
Yes.
Definitely.
Where are they that I should know them?
National interests
Hey.
now here
Where are
as NRM revolutionaries,
Yes.
after capturing power and seeing what the country went through before 1986, that's why they summarized. They came with a 10-point program, summarized it into a 4-agenda principle of NRM: the patriotism, Pan-Africanism, socio-economic transformation, and democracy.
Yes.
That's why whoever stands here to compromise on patriotism or Pan-Africanism, that person is an enemy number one of this country.
Okay.
Whoever stands
Okay,
here
fine.
to sabotage,
That's okay.
to sabotage the socio-economic transformation agenda is an enemy number one of this country. That's why you saw recently during the presidential campaigns, when one candidate went to Bujiri and started campaigning PDM, people threw bottles on him. And they thought he was popular there. But when he started campaigning a program that has
But
championed
are we
socio-economic
Are we
transformation,
being fair?
they threw bottles.
Let me ask you
Meaning,
something. Let me ask
meaning
you something.
people
Let me ask
appreciate
you.
the four
Yes.
principles of
Let me ask you
NRM
something.
that have stabilized the
Let me
country
ask
for now
you.
40 years.
Can a member of the opposition be a patriot?
Definitely. We have some patriots
Exactly.
in
So
opposition.
why are you saying that being a leader of the opposition does not make? It puts you outside the 4 core pillars of the NRM.
Where a leader of opposition
What have I done
is,
wrong if
is
I make?
where a leader of opposition
Hey.
is preying on the Pan-Africanism and the patriotic principles, he seems not to align with the revolutionary agenda. And definitely, what brought the wars here and what is making other African countries have wars is because of tolerating and allowing influence of Western countries in their own countries. If we say we have to allow puppets pray whatever they pray in Uganda, I can tell you it is very hard to keep Uganda peaceful. That's why in most times you see, wherever we see puppets coming out here, the chief of defense forces comes out to speak, the CIC comes out to speak. You have seen even the chief of defense condemning Turkey.
Why?
Of why Turkey is involving in our national affairs.
How?
And that is the first step of patriotism.
How?
There are very many things. You have seen one person who is marching everyone in the country.
Who?
And Turkey is protecting him.
But
the Rumbi and the group.
But let me ask you.
Yes.
Should those that give you foreign aid watch as you run your country against their own interests? If at all they are able to give you resources that they attack to democracy and the rule of law, and they realize that you're sidestepping some of the principles upon which these conditioned grants are advanced to your country, would it be wrong that they call on you to respect the law based on what you get from them? What would be an error there?
Now you see, those who give us aid have their intentions. That's why when they find weak leaders, they easily compromise them for their own good. And I've told you, one of the reasons Libya faced what it faced and why it can never be the Libya with Gaddafi is because Gaddafi was such a strict leader who knew what he wanted, who knew where he wanted Libya to be.
Isn't that where President Museveni and General MK are taking Uganda?
And that
by suffocating and limiting the freedom of expression, the freedom of association of these political elements, aren't you driving Uganda to the direction of Libya, where citizens could push back?
By the way, I want to be clear on this. Libya, the citizens had no problem. But because of the Western influence, because Gaddafi had become a slogan here in Africa. Gaddafi had become a song, had become a factor here in Africa. The Western power had to ensure this factor is removed. Because if Gaddafi was still here and His Excellency Museveni is here, I don't think Africa would be the way it is.
So why didn't Museveni go and fight for him? He kept here.
No, actually, to remember the
that
words.
That is the same thing.
In fact, to remember the words of President Museveni after the murder of President Gaddafi was to mean that Gaddafi had made mistakes that General Museveni had believed Gaddafi had to pay a price for.
Yes.
That was the wording of the president, that Gaddafi made mistakes and he had to pay a price for the mistakes he had made. In fact, to mean that President Museveni castigated Gaddafi and placed him to be the cause of his consequences.
Now, the mistakes, I will not, because that statement, I don't have it on record. I always tell you, when I'm discussing something, I make sure I discuss something I know I have the record.
Okay, let's go to the lifeline of the show. The telephone calls on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. On Cruise TV, I see Fred wa Man United. You're listening. George Biarahanga, you're watching actually. Then Taremwa Alan, you're watching from Chantaba. I see you. Paul, I see you. You're saying you're watching all the way from Bundibujo. Agawa Richard, you're watching from Katete in Kampala, here in Mbarara. And then Navmanya Emmanuel, you're in Chitoche, Mabera Kashari, you're watching, thank you. Musaila Nice, you're saying good morning, the big set from Rwampara. Corruption has decreased because of our loved RDC, the retired Nakamya. I can see there, and you're appreciating us for the show. Then given at Kwase, you're watching all the way from Rohama in Intungamo. Then Ayesigamkama Julius, you're saying, but why is it that every time power goes, off the we shall deal with that. Sorry about that. You're watching all the way from Uganda. Then at Kwere Longin, you're watching from Isinjiro, and you're sending us that feedback. David Friday is saying defending this government, majorly President Museveni and his accomplices, is the hardest thing. You can see how Musa is struggling to defend MK and that he follows the law, yet MK himself said he does not respect courts. Let me end with Stephen Kamjra, who is saying General MK is the next president regardless. Then Shabag Edwin, you're watching all the way from Kampala. I want to appreciate you so much for that. And let me go to the telephone calls right now on 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set.
Cruise FM.
Yes, good morning.
Mr. Westgate, me Barnabas, I'm back.
Yes, Barnabas.
Now on this issue, I think you see how hard it is to defend this government. You can see how Musa Kwatanse was sweating. Because, let me tell you, Mr. Westgate, I was one of the best fans of Mr. MK. But I can confirm to you from now that from the way he mistreated Mr. Elias Rukwago, I promise never to support him again because he has shown us what he is. You cannot stand there and start mistreating people. You violate their rights like that. Now if Musa is saying that he has never had the CDF speaking of investment, I wonder which social media he subscribes to. And I also ask myself when the CDF house started becoming a prison. Because from what I saw, Mr. Elias Rukwago was mistreated from there. So I wonder how the CDF house starts being a prison. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. You appreciate it. On 752-912-912 and 780-912-910. The big set. Just lost that call. Let me end with this final call and I get the parting shots. The big set. Just lost that. Well, thank you so much for those that have been able to catch the show solidly from the start up to where we are. We're almost getting out of studio. Let me start with the Bwenje. What is your parting shot on both topics? First, land grabbing at the district local government and the MK.
Well, for the MK, the biggest, the biggest and most powerful, the most powerful. I mean, how I say, the most powerful four enemy. Okay, is the CDF now. The biggest and most powerful enemy of Uganda and her people is Mos Kainerugaba. And any peace-loving Ugandan must fight him with all the tools that we have, either social media, whichever. And because if we don't, our children, ourselves, and our children's children will never enjoy their motherland, because you cannot call a whole country your personal plantation. This country is bigger than him. It is bigger than his father. It is bigger than his son. So it is a constitutional duty of all of us to fight for our constitution. Because a person who does not respect our constitution does not respect us, and we have we should not accept him to be the president of Uganda, in as far as he does not respect the laws of the land.
Okay, thank you. Musa Kwatanese, I have a message from Council Honorato, who has said he has listened to the entire show, you defending government and General Muhoozi in particular, and he has failed to understand. Mbwenu mbugufu wagamba bushasebu.
Oh, my friend Kansonarata, greetings. I want to, you see, most Ugandans, that's the same thing I started with. that when you don't, when your ideology and your view,
Basically bankrupt.
when you are when your position and your point of view is not aligning with the people, those whom you are not aligning with will definitely see you as an enemy. But me, I appreciate His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni. I appreciate CDF General Muhoozi Kainerugaba for one protecting the interests of this country. And I have already stated it, and I will repeat it, that had it not been that these guys look at national interests first, Uganda would not be stable, because we have had a lot of pressures, we have had a lot of prayers, we have seen many prayers wanting to come, wanting to sabotage, wanting to march, even we have seen some international prayers wanting to cause confusion. But because these guys are smart on protecting national interests, Uganda is peaceful. And one great thinker said, if you are sure where you are standing is safe, then stand firm. That's the reason why Ugandans this time round came and voted for His Excellency massively, and still they are championing government program. And I want to tell them that government has, in this last quarter, government released money to PDM.
Aye.
And so people will benefit. So people should prepare themselves to get PDM money. In this last quarter of this financial year, money came and is going to be distributed to beneficiaries.
Okay.
NRM is working for the people. And I want to congratulate His Excellency Yoweri Kaguta Museveni.
I want to appreciate you, Mr. Musat Kwatanse, for taking time to join us for the big set. Thank you, Mr. Deusdedit Bwenje. And for those that have kept us all the way where we started up to where we are, I want to appreciate you so much. Thank you for being contributors of the Big Seat. Next Saturday on the Big Seat, we have news at the top of the hour. My name is Wesige Banyaji, for God and my country. Good morning.
The views expressed on this program are not necessarily the views of this radio station or its management.
This radio is regulated by Uganda Communications Commission, UCC.